Let's get right into it. Number 11. The Hallin Lights. In a remote valley in Norway, something strange keeps happening. Mysterious lights appear in the sky. Scientists have been studying them since the 1980s. These aren't your typical UFO sightings. The lights are well documented. There's even a permanent scientific research station set up just to study them. They appear as bright, floating orbs, sometimes white, sometimes yellow, sometimes red. They can hover in place or zip across the sky at incredible speeds. The research station has caught them on camera hundreds of times. They've measured them with all kinds of scientific equipment. They still can't fully explain what they are. Some scientists think they might be some kind of plasma. Others point to geological activity in the valley. But none of these explanations quite fit everything we see. Number 10. The Lake Michigan structure. In 2007, archaeologists were scanning the bottom of Lake Michigan with sonar. They were looking for shipwrecks. Instead, they found something much stranger. 40 feet below the surface, they found stones arranged in a circle, like a mini underwater Stonehenge. The stones are arranged with surprising regularity, and they're sitting in an area that would have been dry land thousands of years ago. But here's the weird part. We have no record of any civilization in that area building stone circles. The Native American tribes from that region don't have any traditions about building them. The site remains largely unexplored. It's too deep for regular diving, and too delicate for heavy equipment. Number 9. The Tekaxic-Calixtlahuaca head. In 1933, archaeologists in Mexico found something that shouldn't exist, a small terracotta head that looked Roman. The head was found in a burial site dating back to between 1476 and 1510, right before European contact, and it has everyone scratching their heads. The head shows features that definitely look Roman, a beard, distinctive facial features, and a style that screams ancient Rome. It looks like it was made somewhere around the 2nd or 3rd century. Tests show it's definitely old. It's definitely terracotta, and it definitely shouldn't be in Mexico. How did something that looks so Roman end up in Mexico, before Columbus, and in an ancient burial site? Number 8. The asphalt-coated skulls of Ain Ghazal. In Jordan, archaeologists found something that looks straight out of a horror movie. Human skulls, carefully removed from bodies, covered in black asphalt, and decorated with shells for eyes. These aren't just any old skulls. They're 9,500 years old. That's older than the pyramids, older than writing, older than cities. The people who made these weren't just playing around. They removed the skulls with surgical precision. Then they reconstructed the faces using plaster and asphalt. But here's where it gets weird. They didn't just make one or two. They made dozens of these things. Each skull was treated differently. Some had shells for eyes. Others had detailed features molded in plaster. A few even had paint added to give them lifelike skin tones. The really strange part is that they found these skulls carefully arranged in groups, like some kind of ancient art gallery, or maybe something much darker. Scientists think these might have been part of a worship ritual. But that doesn't explain why some skulls belong to children. The level of skill needed to make these is mind-blowing. Remember, this is 9,500 years ago. No metal tools, no modern chemicals, just stone tools and raw materials. Maybe they were just trying to preserve the faces of their loved ones, or maybe create some kind of ancient portrait gallery. Number 7. The WOW signal. On August 15, 1977, astronomer Jerry Emmon was looking at data from Ohio State's Big Ear radio telescope. Suddenly, he saw something that made him write, "Wow," in the margins of the printout. What he saw was a signal, not just any signal, a signal that matched exactly what scientists expected an alien civilization's broadcast might look like. The signal lasted for 72 seconds, and it was really strong. And it came from a spot near the constellation Sagittarius, right where we'd expect to find alien civilizations if they existed. The signal was 30 times stronger than the background noise of space. That's like hearing a whisper from across the galaxy, but we've never heard it again. Scientists have pointed telescopes at that same spot thousands of times since then. Nothing. Complete silence. We've ruled out all the usual suspects. It wasn't a satellite. It wasn't Earth-based interference. It wasn't a natural astronomical phenomenon we know about. The frequency of the signal was 1,420 megahertz. That's the frequency of hydrogen, the most common element in the universe. It's also the frequency scientists have long predicted aliens would use to communicate. Think about it. If you wanted to get someone's attention across the galaxy, you'd use something universal, right? Like the frequency of the most common element in existence. So what was it? A glitch in the telescope? A passing alien spacecraft? A message from an advanced civilization? Number 6. The Voich Manuscript. Imagine finding a book that nobody in the world can read. Not a single word. Not even the world's best code breakers. That's the Voich Manuscript. A 240-page book filled with strange text and bizarre illustrations. Written sometime in the 1400s, the pages show plants that don't exist, astronomical diagrams that don't match any known constellation, and women bathing in green liquid connected by weird pipe systems. The text doesn't match any known language. It follows patterns like real language, but it's completely unreadable. Modern computers have tried to crack it. AI has tried to decode it. The world's top cryptographers have spent years studying it. Nothing. The book keeps its secrets. The ink tests prove it's not a hoax. Someone in the 1400s wrote an entire book, in a completely unknown language, with pictures of impossible plants. Number 5. The Feo Disc. In 1908, an Italian archaeologist found a strange clay disc in Crete. It was covered in spiral rows of stamped symbols, and we still can't read them. The disc is about 6 inches in diameter. It has 241 words made up of 45 unique characters, and it's the world's first example of printed text. That's right. Someone invented a printing system around 1700 BC, about 3,000 years before Gutenberg. In ancient Crete, the symbols were pressed into soft clay using some kind of stamp. Each symbol was made with a unique punch, like a prehistoric printing press. The symbols don't match any known writing system, and we've never found anything else like it. Scientists have studied it for over 100 years. They've tried every known method of decryption. Nothing works. We know it's authentic, because the clay matches other artifacts from ancient Crete. We know it's not a hoax because the technology to fake it didn't exist in 1908, but that's about all we know for sure. Some think it might be a prayer, others suggest it could be a calendar, a few even think it might be a board game. Number 4. The Lake Winnipesauke Mystery Stone. In 1872, workers digging a hole in New Hampshire found a strange stone. It was egg-shaped, and covered in symbols. The stone is made of a type of quartzite. It's about 4 inches long, and it has holes drilled through it with remarkable precision. The holes are unusually smooth and straight for something found in a 19th century dig. The symbols on the stone are bizarre. They show face-like designs, astronomical symbols, and geometric patterns. Nothing quite like it has been found in the area before or since. We don't know who made it, or what the symbols mean, or why they went to so much trouble to drill those precise holes. Number 3. The UED Lizard Men. In the deserts of Iraq, archaeologists keep finding these creepy statues. They show humanoid figures, with lizard heads. They're from the UED period. That's about 7,000 years ago, way before written history. The statues show these lizard people doing normal human things, holding babies, nursing children, just hanging out, but they all have these reptilian features. Long heads, almond-shaped eyes, scaly skin. There are hundreds of these statues, all showing the same lizard-like features. What were these ancient people trying to show us? Why did they make so many? And why lizard people? Number 2. The Longyu Caves. In 1992, a Chinese villager decided to pump out a pond near his home. What he found underneath changed everything we thought we knew about ancient engineering. Hidden beneath the water was an entrance to a massive cave system. These were not natural caves. They were man-made caves. We're talking about 24 caves carved out of solid rock, each one about the size of a cathedral, with precise parallel tool marks covering every surface. The total area of these caves is over 1 million square feet. That's like 12 football fields. Underground, carved by hand. The ceiling of each cave has a uniform pattern, like someone took a giant comb and scraped it across solid rock, over and over again, until it was perfect. But there are no historical records of these caves being built. None. Zero. Not a single mention in any ancient text. Someone carved over 1 million square feet of underground space, by hand, and didn't bother to write it down. The engineering required to create these caves was incredible. The pillars are evenly spaced. The walls are almost perfectly straight. We're talking about precision that would be challenging even with modern equipment. But these caves are at least 2,000 years old. Number 1. The Crab Nebula Mystery. In 2019, astronomers spotted something that made them question everything they thought they knew about space. The Crab Nebula is basically the leftovers of a massive star that exploded about 1,000 years ago. Chinese astronomers actually saw this explosion back in 1054 AD. Now this nebula is shooting out energy that's way more powerful than it should be able to. Scientists have checked their equipment multiple times. Different teams have confirmed the readings. This isn't a mistake. It's really happening. The weird part is we have no idea how the nebula is doing this. It's like finding out your grandma's old bicycle can somehow go faster than a Ferrari. We know it's happening, but we can't figure out how, so the Crab Nebula just sits there, about 6,500 light-years away, casually breaking the laws of physics as we understand them. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.